Welcome to the Nerf Report. Welcome back to the Nerf Report. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. No, I'm filming my show for the YouTube. Stop being salty.
The ghost of Macho Man Randy Savage is here.
And in the history of the Nerf Report, with all of the videos we've ever made, this one is definitely going to be our jump the shark moment. Hey, welcome back to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant. We've got a great show lined up for you this week. We ask the question that is in the back of every Stadian's mind: has EA given up on Stadia? PlayStation gave us a first look and updates on 16 games during their state of play. And to close us out, we've got some pretty massive show news that will change the course of the show forever. Alex, order the Tesla. All of this and much, much more on this week's episode of the Nerf Report.
Are you listening?
All right, we have a jam-packed show for you. 3 pages. We got 3 pages of news to talk about this week, so let's just jump straight into the first story. Has EA given up on Google Stadia? Now, this story popped up this week because EA announced Madden NFL 23, and they revealed that it will be coming to the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, the Xbox One, and PC via the Epic Games Store, Origin, Steam, and the EA app. And notably, the big platform missing there is Google Stadia, especially since the last 2 Madden games that released also came to Google Stadia. Granted, Madden NFL 21 did release on a later date, but Madden NFL 22 launched day and date for Google Stadia. Plus, remember, back in 2020, EA and Google announced an agreement that would bring 5 games to the Stadia platform. And at the time of that announcement, all we knew was that FIFA, Madden NFL 21, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order would be coming to the platform, and the other 2 games were kind of a mystery. And turns out that those other 2 games were just the newest version of FIFA and Madden NFL 22. And I guess adding the fuel to the fire that EA has potentially given up on Google Stadia, Star Wars Jedi Survivor was announced last weekend during Star Wars Celebration, and that game was announced as coming to major platforms including PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Again, Stadia nowhere to be found. But honestly, that's just the beginning, because since the announcement between Stadia and EA, we've also seen EA release new games like F1 22, Grid Legends, Battlefield 2042, NHL 22, Lost in Random, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and It Takes Two, and none of those EA games were brought to the Stadia platform, leading me to think that that contract between EA and Stadia was pretty straightforward. You're only getting 5 games. Anything after that isn't going to happen. Well, the big concern here is FIFA 23. That announcement is right around the corner, and I would go on a limb and say that FIFA is probably the biggest sports game on Stadia as a platform. And there is an argument that FIFA 23 definitely is coming because, well, Stadia is part of the cross-play test that FIFA's running. But then I go back to this, that unless EA says it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. Now, a friend of the show, Lee, who works on Stadia Source and GeForce Source, he reached out to EA's PR team for a clarification about Madden, and the message he got back was Madden NFL 23 is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC via EA app for Windows, Origin, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. Currently, the game will not be offered for Google Stadia. And I've been diving into this conversation a lot on Twitter, and the one response that I often get back is, well, maybe EA is just giving up on cloud gaming. You know, they didn't talk about xCloud, they didn't talk about GeForce Now, they didn't talk about Amazon Luna. And while I completely understand where that argument's coming from, it's also not very valid. Like with Amazon Luna, they have 0 EA games on the platform. So for me and other Luna players, there's not really any disappointment there because we didn't expect to see the game in the first place. And I mean, realistically, we have a better chance of seeing an EA Play Store arrive on Amazon Luna than any of these games popping up in the first place. In regards to Xbox Cloud Gaming, that is part of Game Pass, which includes EA Play and all of the games that are included there. And I will say that lately, the majority of the games that do come to Game Pass are cloud enabled. So if Madden and FIFA and Star Wars Survivor do come to Game Pass, there's a good chance that those games are going to be cloud enabled as well. And the final one is GeForce Now, which is really weird because I don't think GeForce Now and Stadia are the same thing. Stadia is a cloud gaming platform. It's the same as PlayStation and it's the same as Xbox. You use the platform to buy games that you want to play. GeForce Now, on the other hand, is a complimentary service. You buy games on Steam and you buy games on the Epic Games Store, or you buy games on Origin, and you can play those games via the cloud thanks to GeForce Now. It's on top of all the other platforms. But even if you want to compare GeForce Now to Stadia, back in 2021, GeForce Now announced a partnership with EA, and since then, we have seen a ton of games become compatible with the cloud gaming service. So with Madden and Jedi Survivor coming to PC, there is a very good chance that those will also be compatible with GeForce Now. And the other thing that I keep coming back to this is Stadia's big conversation point right now is low change porting. Whether it's Google Stadia or whether it's members of the community, low change porting is constantly the thing that they go back to. They're like, well, Stadia has these new porting tools that are bringing games to the platform. And we've seen some developers embrace those. And we've even seen Dov Zimring say that load change porting tools can now reduce game development to the matter of weeks to bring the game to Stadia. And while yes, all of that is awesome, but I guess my question back to you is, if load change porting is that cool, why wasn't EA one of the original developers that you're testing this out with? There are so many other developers in the world that would be great to partner with, and you would ensure that games like Madden and FIFA and Jedi Survivor and Apex Legends and all these other games would be coming to the Stadia platform. Now, maybe that's happened, and maybe EA does have access to low change porting, but that announcement has not come from EA, and it has not come from Google Stadia. I mean, I've reached out to Stadia 3 times now, asking them, hey, have you expanded low change porting to new developers? Where are we going with this? And for the most part, my questions are being ignored, making me extremely concerned. Because if low change porting is bringing games to the platform in the matter of weeks, don't you think that that would be something that you would be screaming from the rooftops and proving that, hey, developer A brought their game to the platform in the matter of weeks? You should too. It's just such a fascinating time. But to answer the question, has EA given up on Google Stadia? You know, with Madden not coming, Star Wars Jedi Survivor not coming, Grid Legends, F1 22, Battlefield 2042, NHL 22, Lost in Random, Knockout City, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Apex Legends, and It Takes Two not being available on Stadia. I've got a question. Did EA ever care about Stadia? All right, moving on from one cloud gaming platform to another, Amazon Luna was in the news. Amazon Luna officially announced this week that Ys 9 Monstrum Nox is available for Luna Plus subscribers. According to NIS America, renowned adventurer Adol the Red Christian and his companion Doji arrive at Balduke, a city annexed by the Roman Empire, only for Adol to be detained before setting foot inside. While in prison, he meets a mysterious woman named Aprilis who turns him into a monster, a being with supernatural gifts and the power to exorcise monsters. Now, Adol must ally with his fellow Monstrums to fend off the fearsome threats emerging from a shadowy dimension called the Grimwald Nox, as well as unravel the mysteries of the Monstrum curse. You know, I've never played this game before, but reading that description, I think I now understand how my wife feels when I talk about Star Wars. She's just like, yeah? Oh. Okay. Now, we also checked into some of the reviews for Ys 9. IGN gave the game an 8 out of 10. Nintendo Life gave it a 9 out of 10. And at the time of filming this, the game is currently sitting with a 76% on Metacritic. Now, the other big news this week was that PlayStation was going to be holding a State of Play. And if you're not aware, State of Play is PlayStation's kind of E3 press conference event that they hold almost like quarterly, in which they announce the new games that are coming to the platform, new announcements, and also show off brand new trailers. And this State of Play, PlayStation absolutely knocked it out of the park. I mean, there were some absolute killer announcements, including a remake of Resident Evil 4 that will be launching in 2023. Spider-Man Remastered is coming to PC on August 12th. We got our first look at 4 games that are coming to PlayStation VR 2. Street Fighter 6 was announced, and then we got a brand new trailer for Final Fantasy 16, which will be launching in summer of 2023. And I gotta say, Resident Evil 4 being remade is a really interesting choice because recently Oculus just had their giant VR version of it, so to see it kind of be remastered, and the graphics look pretty comparable to Village. Resident Evil 4, of course, is where Leon is sent out to rescue the president's daughter, and he ends up finding himself in this crazy village filled with cult-like psychos. If I remember correctly, it was like one of the first Resident Evil games not to have zombies, and it's super terrifying. Either way, Resident Evil 4 the remake will be launching on March 24th of 2023 for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Plus, PlayStation threw in there at the last minute that exclusive PlayStation VR2 content for the game is being developed. Speaking of the PlayStation VR 2, PlayStation also announced 4 brand new games coming to it, including a Resident Evil Village VR experience, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution, No Man's Sky VR, and finally we got our first look at gameplay footage for the upcoming Horizon Zero Dawn VR game entitled Horizon Call of the Mountain. All 4 of these games just yell Bryant. Like horror games, man, Walking Dead, Resident Evil, I will play the hell out of those games. The only one that I'm kind of like about might be Horizon. Like, I'm all for these big action adventure games, and if it's done properly, it's gonna be good. Although the thing that's kind of drawing me in the most about this, it's supposed to have haptic feedback and adaptive triggers built into the controller, and when I saw the character pull back the bow, I was like, that's gonna be pretty dope. PlayStation also showed off a gameplay trailer for Callisto Protocol, which is going to be launching on December 2nd of 2022. We got gameplay footage of Stray, which will be releasing on July 19th. Horizon Forbidden West is getting a new game plus, transmog, new weapons, along with an ultra hard difficulty mode, which again, as the captain of Team Easy Mode, what is wrong with you people? Like, do you look at a game and you're like, I want it to make me cry? I played Stuntman as a kid on the PlayStation 2, and that might have been the hardest game I've ever played in my life. I legit threw my controller. Why do you want that? So if you're one of those gamers out there, I'd love to hear from you. So please tell me in the comments section, what is wrong with you? PlayStation also showed off some awesome indie games like Roller Drome, which will be launching on August 16th. Eder Knights, which is an action dating game coming out in 2023. Tunic is coming to PlayStation on September 27th. Season will be launching in autumn of 2022. And then PlayStation showed off our first look at Street Fighter 6, which has an open world adventure mode called the Adventure Hub. And we also saw Chun-Li, Ryu, Jamie, Luke, tons of Hadoukens. One thing that I really digged about this was kind of the paint shadows that were coming out from the characters. So every single time they moved, there was almost a color shadow of them behind them. Really cool aesthetic. Now, we don't have an official release date, but we do know that Street Fighter 6 will be coming to PlayStation in 2023. And the final big announcement from PlayStation was obviously Final Fantasy 16, and they gave us a really cool gameplay trailer which showed combat, story, and really kind of just everything you've come to expect from a Final Fantasy video game, along with the announcement that this game will be launching summer of 2023. Overall, a really awesome state of play. I think there was a little bit of something for everyone. I, for one, love the Resident Evil news. I'll be jumping into that. Spider-Man Remastered coming to PC on August 12th is an awesome story. And Roller Drome definitely interests me, but let me know what you think. Was there something that we missed? Is there an announcement that has you the most excited? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right, moving on to our last two stories. EA's Knockout City has officially gone free to play. If you're not aware, Knockout City is this awesome free to play dodgeball game that's available on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and the Nintendo Switch. And the big announcement this week is that this game is going free to play. I, for one, said that this game should have been free to play since launch, but I'm just a dude who talks about video games in his garage. Now, another cool detail here is because the game is going free to play, a PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live with Gold, or Nintendo Switch online subscription is no longer required in order to play this game. And I know I keep going back to this on the show, but it's like, if you're coming out with a live service video game where it's competitive and you have everything that, you got to stay in this game daily, the best thing you could do with that game at launch is just make it free. Make it that everyone can play it, and if it's fun, people are going to embrace it. Like we're seeing Fall Guys go free to play. That game should have been free to play to begin with. But anyway, Knockout City is going to free to play. You can now play with all of your friends and hit them in the face with balls, and they don't have to pay for it, unless they're into that type of thing. All right, our final story is an exciting one because it has to do with the show. If you missed the announcement on Twitter this week, the Nerf report was acquired by Monkey Brain Entertainment. Monkey Brain Entertainment is a brand new multi-channel network that I'm going to be participating in. I'm taking an executive role, so there's a lot of exciting opportunities to come from that one. For the most part, nothing is changing about the Nerf report. It's still going to be a daily show. We're still going to be talking about gaming news. I'm still a host, so for those of you back there that were hoping to get rid of me, it's not happening. But what this allows me to do is I get to work with an MCN now and produce content that's not possible here on the channel. Like, everyone that watches this loves cloud gaming and they love video games, but I love other things outside of that. I love whiskey, I love Star Wars, I love nerdy things. There's so many different things that I want to talk about that I can't do on this channel. So partnering with a company like Monkey Brain allows me to do other cool things. For example, we launched a Star Wars themed podcast this week called Scruffy Nerf Herders. And that's where me and my friends jump into the brand new Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus, and we talk it out about our favorite moments and the things that we hope happen in the series and our favorite things about Star Wars. Stuff that I can't do on the Nerf Report, but now I've got a second show thanks to the folks over at Monkey Brain. So big moment for the show, big moment for me. I appreciate all of your support over the years, guys, and thank you to everyone who's already reached out following the Twitter announcements. Your kind messages literally kept a smile on my face the entire week, but I'm really excited. I think that this is a great step for the Nerf Report. We're moving in the right direction and we get to create awesome new content. So please, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the Nerf Report along with Scruffy Nerf Herders. There's 3 brand new podcast episodes where we're diving into the first 3 episodes of Kenobi. Moving on, we're already talking about doing Clone Wars, we're talking about doing Rogue One, and then Andor is coming out later this year, Bad Batch. We're gonna have podcasts surrounding all of those as well. So if you're a fan of Star Wars, definitely check out that channel. We'll link it down in the comment section below. And that obviously is gonna close out the show for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, like this video, share it on social media, and until next time, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.